Today, Israel launches a fresh attack on Iran's leadership compound as the death toll in the country rises to nearly 800. We are live to our correspondents in Tel Aviv and Washington, D.C. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese holds talks with the UAE president, pushing to get stranded Australians out of the Middle East. End of an era. The Kyle and Jackie O show cancelled. What comes next for radio's golden couple? Rescue crews search for a missing swimmer off a Gold Coast beach. And a rare blood moon sweeps across the night sky, dazzling stargazers right around the country.
From 9 News, this is Today.
Good morning and welcome to Today Early News. We'll begin with the escalating situation in the Middle East. Here is the state of play this Wednesday morning. President Trump says the conflict could go on forever, declaring the US has unlimited firepower to fight Iran.
They have no Navy, it's been knocked out. They have no Air Force, it's been knocked out. They have no air detection, that's been knocked out.
Israel has attacked another key target, a building where Iranian officials were supposed to decide the country's new leader. It's now been destroyed in airstrikes. Reports almost 800 people have been killed in Iran since the attacks began on Saturday. But access to the internet has been cut for nearly 80 hours, so accurate information is hard to obtain. Some relief this morning for Australians trapped overseas. A few flights in the Middle East have started again, this plane taking off amid the chaos. 19,000 flights have been cancelled since the conflict began. Our team are tracking every development this morning. First, let's go to Lauren Tomasi in Washington, D.C. Good morning to you, Lauren. A third US embassy in the region has just closed.
Jayne, the embassy in Beirut, Lebanon, the latest to close, along with Kuwait and the embassy in Saudi Arabia. Both of those embassies have been hit with missile and drone attacks. No reported injuries there, but the US president now signalling this conflict could rage on. Today, Donald Trump inside the Oval Office and meeting with the first world leader since America launched this attack. He's been side by side with the German Chancellor, and the US president is saying that in his opinion, Iran was about to launch an attack, and that is why America has made its move. The US president really expressive frustration as well with many European allies this morning who aren't joining his war effort, saying he's going to cut off trade with Spain and that he's not happy with the UK. Comments which have come after UK PM Keir Starmer has repeatedly said that Britain will not join the Israel and US effort against Iran, but that he will be moving in a British warship in order to protect British personnel in Cyprus. So a lot on the move here, and we are beginning to see the effects ripple right around the world here today. Oil prices are up, so is petrol, and the global stock markets are down. The effects of war so far-reaching, and the longer this rolls on, the heavier the impacts right around the globe. Jayne.
Lauren, thank you. Now let's turn to Emily Saunders at Parliament House in Canberra. Emily, the Prime Minister has reached out to the UAE President.
He has, Jayne. Good morning. And we're told he thanked the United Arab Emirates leader, Sheikh Mohammed, for accommodating and providing hospitality to the thousands of Australians stuck in his country, with commercial flights still largely grounded. That issue also discussed, both leaders hoping to see all flights resume as soon as possible, but it's not clear yet when that will be. We know more than 100,000 Australians are in the Middle East, with 11,000 that on a normal day would travel through its airports. Those Aussies now in limbo, waiting for the airspace to fully reopen. The Prime Minister also acknowledging that it's a difficult time for the people in the UAE too, calling attacks on the country and others in the region by Iran indiscriminate. Jayne.
Okay, Emily, thank you. The Kyle and Jackie O show is officially over after an on-air clash between the radio hosts. Madison Scott has the latest.
It's a 20-year-long partnership now in tatters. A statement from the Australian Radio Network says Jackie Henderson cannot continue to work with Carl Sandilands after an on-air clash between the pair on February 20. Carl's alleged behaviour on that day has been viewed as a serious act of misconduct. He's now been given 14 days to remedy this breach, otherwise he'll be sacked. This is what he told Nine's cameras after finishing work yesterday.
Hopefully she'll be back. That's my luck.
The pair are in their second year of a 10-year, $200 million contract. Jackie O has been offered the possibility of an alternative show on Kiss FM. There was no sign of either host at their Eastern Beaches homes last night.
2 workers have been held at gunpoint as their tobacco shop was torched in Melbourne's north. 2 men, one armed with a gun, jumped out of a white sedan and poured fuel throughout the store in Glenroy, setting it alight before they fled. The same car was later found burnt out nearby. The workers were not hurt and the arsonists are still on the run. A major search to find a tourist missing at a beach on the Gold Coast will ramp up this morning. He was last seen struggling in the surf at Main Beach, sparking an intensive rescue operation with Water Police and Polair last night as locals watched on.
And now they're looking pretty deep into the ocean now. And that's scary to even think somebody's out there.
Crews were forced to suspend their efforts in the dark and they will return to the water today. A female prisoner has been returned to custody after escaping from a hospital in Sydney's north. The 45-year-old woman allegedly fled Royal North Shore Hospital on Monday while on a medical escort. She is the 5th person to escape from hospital while under police guard in the last month. A former police officer believes the massive rainfall in South Australia could finally reveal new evidence in the search for missing 4-year-old Gus Lamont. Aaron Stewart believes the 129mm deluge may have unearthed skeletal remains or clothing from the boy. The disappearance has been treated as a major crime after Gus vanished in September. Well, if you missed last night's blood moon, we can show you pictures this morning from right around the country of that spectacular red and orange display. From Perth to Sydney, stargazers gathered in their thousands to witness the sight when the moon lined up with the sun and the earth. The magical event marks the end of a rare run of lunar eclipses, with the next total eclipse not expected until New Year's Eve 2028. What a show that'll be. Let's get today's top sports stories now. Zach Lomax won't be returning to the NRL until at least 2028 after the Eels rejected a $750,000 transfer fee from the Storm. The 2 clubs did reach an agreement outside the Supreme Court, with Melbourne covering $250,000 of Parramatta's legal costs.
This has never been about Zach personally. It's always been about the contract, and it's always been about us standing up for what we feel is right for our club.
We moved on really quickly. We had to, and we're preparing for a game this weekend.
In a statement, the Storm said they were disappointed for Zach and for the game of rugby league, while the Eels are willing to negotiate with other clubs if it can strengthen their roster. Will Hayward and Ollie Florent might be 2 of Isaac Heaney's closest mates and business partners, but the Swans superstar will put those loyalties aside in tomorrow's opening round clash against Carlton at the SCG.
It's going to be on this Thursday and I can't wait. I look forward to moments where hopefully we can bump into each other and you can have a wrestle and sort of muck around in that aspect. And for some reason it's always if you can put a bigger shot on your mate, you try and do it. But at the same time, they're unbelievable fellas and look forward to seeing them.
Heaney also had high praise for star recruit and former Blue Charlie Curnow ahead of his official club debut, comparing his playing style to Lance Franklin. Let's take a look at the weather across the country now. Brisbane, partly cloudy and 30 degrees today. Sydney, showers and a top of 29. Canberra, rain ahead, 28 degrees. Melbourne, cloudy with a high of 22. Hobart, a sunny day for you, 25 degrees. Adelaide, clouds clearing for 27. Perth, sunshine and 37 degrees. Darwin, showers and a top of 31. Straight ahead on Today Early News, a dramatic rescue in the US. 2 people winched to safety after their hot air balloon crashed. Plus, see the heart-stopping moment a truck driver is pulled from rising floodwaters in South Australia. And beer lovers, brace yourselves. We break down why your next pint could cost you a little extra. Right across Australia, this is Today Early News on 9, and when you go, we're streaming on 9 Now. Let's return now to our lead story. Israel has launched a fresh attack on Iran's leadership compound as the death toll in the country rises to nearly 800. Live to Mimi Becker, who's on the ground in Tel Aviv. Mimi, good morning to you. Key Iranian government sites have now been hit.
Jayne, Israel continues to target Iran's leadership, and we've seen videos of the Assembly of Experts building flattened. That is the exact building that leaders and Iranian officials were due to decide the country's new supreme leader. Details are coming out today that Israeli spies had also been monitoring the Ayatollah for years at the compound where he was killed, and that reports Tehran's traffic cameras were hacked to monitor his every move. Now, the death toll in Iran is reportedly at 787 people, and that is expected to rise. Tehran Palace has also been hit in the latest strikes, and that is a World Heritage Site that was used to be the home of Iran's royal family. The relentless attacks clearly very targeted today.
These are bad people, and the leader of the pack is gone. And as you know, 49 people were taken out in the first hit. And I guess there was another hit today on the new leadership, and it looks like that was pretty substantial also.
Now, Iran is still firing back. Several missile sirens have been heard today here in Tel Aviv. We just had one about 10 minutes ago, but that attack has now been cleared. Now, the Iron Dome is intercepting attacks, but some shrapnels from missiles are still managing to get through with significant damage in parts of the city. And while the threat remains, Israel's airspace is expected to open at limited capacity from tomorrow. The IDF is also continuing its attacks on Hezbollah, moving in to Lebanon on the ground today as well. I was at the border at the north today and could hear repeated gunfire, explosions with fighter jets flying above, Jayne. So it's clear this conflict is still widening.
OK, Mimi, thank you. Meanwhile, in Australia, motorists are being warned not to panic buy petrol, with the country's supply set to last through to May. The Energy Minister says this is dependent on current contracts being honoured, with 50 days' worth of oil estimated to be in the country. At least 40 oil tankers are stranded in the Persian Gulf between Iran and Saudi Arabia. Experts are warning the conflict in the Middle East will drive up grocery bills too, with the cost of farming and interest rates. The Reserve Bank governor saying the longer the war goes on, the bigger the impact on inflation.
With a supply shock occurring, we're in a situation where we already have high inflation. I think there is a risk that inflation expectations may start to move.
The Treasurer has asked the competition watchdog to monitor petrol retailers for price gouging. A man and a woman have been pulled to safety after their hot air balloon became tangled on a cell phone tower in the US. Emergency crews rushed to the scene in Texas, working to reach the pair who were stuck nearly 300 metres above ground. It took rescuers more than an hour to bring them back to safety. The United Nations is warning 6.5 million people in Somalia are facing extreme hunger after a prolonged period of drought. More than a third of those facing malnutrition are children, as the crisis worsens from conflict and cuts to global aid funding. An 8-year-old girl from the Gold Coast has been killed in a snowmobile accident while holidaying with her family in Japan. Chloe Jeffries was a passenger when it flipped over an embankment near Hakuba village. The Department of Foreign Affairs is providing consular assistance to the family. She is the 4th Australian to die on Japanese ski slopes this year. A 19-year-old man has been charged after a modified firearm, ammunition, a sword and cocaine were seized at a property in Melbourne's southwest. He was arrested in Wyndham Vale yesterday and will face court today. With less than 9 months until Victoria's election, new polling has revealed who voters believe will best manage the state's critical issues. Support is swinging behind Liberal opposition leader Jess Wilson to best handle issues like crime, healthcare and cost of living. The Freshwater poll also revealed Wilson is the state's preferred premier, leading Jacinta Allen by 16%. Well, while thousands of travellers are stuck in the Middle East, it has been a better result for Formula One teams. As Ollie Haig reports, they've gone to extraordinary lengths to avoid missing this weekend's Grand Prix.
Well, this has been a huge logistical effort to get the hundreds of F1 personnel, their teams and the drivers to Australia in time for the Grand Prix this weekend. Now we've seen 2 charter flights leave London. One, a British Airways flight that is making its way down to Melbourne via Singapore. Another that is making its way to Australia via Tanzania in Africa. These extraordinary steps to try and avoid the airspace over the Middle East. We also know as well drivers are also making their way to Melbourne on board their own private planes. Max Verstappen arriving at Tullamarine. We've begun seeing some of the other crews arriving in Melbourne who have experienced some very long journeys to Australia. I spoke with Aston Martin staff who said their Emirates flights were cancelled and they were rerouted via Hong Kong.
Rerouted flight into Hong Kong and then we had a fairly long layover.
How long was the total travel time in the end?
I think it was probably about 30 to 35 hours maybe. There's still a fair amount of people to get over here, so let's see what happens in the next few days.
Plenty of fans are beginning to touch down in Melbourne from across Australia. We saw plenty of them visiting South Bank, shopping at merchandise stores. And we got a glimpse of Aussie Oscar Piastri, who was seen at a store in Melbourne where there was thousands of people waiting to get a glimpse of the Aussie star.
I bet there were. The cost to buy a frothy at the local pub is about to go up. That is the warning from beer giants who say prices would be increasing due to rising labour, transport and material costs. Frustrated pub owners have warned they have no choice but to pass it on to consumers. Let's take a look at the markets now on Wall Street. The Dow Jones is down 714 points. The S&P 500 also in the red. At home, the All Ords closed down too yesterday by more than 133 points. In London, the FTSE down as well. Commodities and gold is at $5,089 an ounce. Silver down to 82 and oil at $77 a barrel. Big jump. Coming up on Today Early News, a Broncos star throws his hat into the ring to succeed Adam Reynolds as captain. Plus, Crows recruit Callum Archie eyes round 1 return despite injury. And see the gold medal moment that left a Bondi post office buzzing. Welcome back to Today Early News. Our top stories this Wednesday. Israel launches a fresh attack on Iran's leadership compound as the US threatens to ramp up retaliation across the region. Rescue crews search for a missing swimmer off a Gold Coast beach. And end of an era. Popular radio program The Kyle and Jackie O Show is cancelled. Let's check sport now. Tony Staggs has declared his ambition to become Brisbane's next captain, setting his sights on the role once Adam Reynolds hangs up his boots. Already a part of the Broncos leadership group, Staggs says he'll spend the upcoming season soaking up everything he can from the veteran skipper.
When I do need help on leadership, he's always there to obviously have my back and give me what I need. It'd be good to pick his brain as much as I can this year to be able to follow his footsteps from when he does leave. But I'm loving the role that I'm playing here, and if that ever came up, I wouldn't steer away from it.
Brisbane launches its title defence against the Panthers on Friday night. Callum Archie is in a race against the clock to be fit for Adelaide's round 1 clash with Collingwood in 9 days' time. The Crows recruit is still recovering from his second hamstring strain of the pre-season, suffered during the State of Origin clash.
The communication's been really good between physios and the high performance team and myself. So it's just with how I'm going and how the hammy's feeling, and I'll be really honest with them. But at the moment, it's going great. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Archie isn't the only key name under an injury cloud, with forward Riley Thilthorpe also managing a back complaint as the Crows count down to their season opener. Returning to Petersham ahead of club rugby round has Charlie Gamble reflecting on his path to the Waratahs. The flanker says the move from Christchurch in 2018 reignited his passion for the game after struggling with injuries and expectations.
Just kind of that pressure of, kind of being a bit of a superstar as a teenager, and then the expectation on, close friends and family to succeed at that level, and then not doing that was really disappointing. To let them down and let myself down. I guess that kind of led to me coming over here.
Gamble is focused on keeping the Tars' perfect start to the season alive when they host the Hurricanes on Friday night. Stay with us. Coming up, see the moment an Aussie gold medalist made a very cheeky stop at the post office. And then it is time for Today, but first, your local weather forecast. Look who's back. This is Today Early News, live on 9 and 9 Now. Welcome back. Aussie Winter Olympian Cooper Woods is soaking up every bit of gold medal glory since returning home, even making a cheeky stop at the post office to grab the brand new Winter Olympics themed post stamps. The Moguls champ surprised staff at an Australia Post office in Bondi Junction buying the stamps, which feature his very own face printed on them.
Hi, I was wondering if I could buy some Olympic stamps.
Olympic stamps.
They're me.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's why I've come in to get some. Such an honour. So stoked. Don't ask me to write you a letter because I'm not very good at handwriting.
Australia Post later shared the heartwarming moment online, saying staff were starstruck by the unexpected drop-in. Let's take a look at today's weather now around the country. Brisbane, partly cloudy and 30 degrees. Sydney, showers, top of 29. Canberra, rain today, 28 your top. Melbourne, cloudy, a high of 22. Sunny for you in Hobart today, 25 degrees. Adelaide, clouds clearing for a top of 27. Perth, sunshine and a hot 37 degrees. Darwin, showers expected with a top of 31. And that is Today Early News. Now it's time